Dude!
Oh, hey Zoltan, what's up?
JRPG news. That's what's up.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So welcome everyone to Dude JRPG news. This is the news show that we do, and we're doing it right now on Turn-Based Memories YouTube channel, but as of December 1st, all Dude JRPG news episodes will be deleted from Turn-Based Memories channel and will be only uploaded on Dude JRPG News YouTube channel. So go subscribe to Dude JRPG News channel if you want the news. How's it going, co-host Mel?
It's going very well, Comrade Zoltan.
Oh, right, I'm a comrade.
It just sounded that way the way you said it.
I'm letting the audience know that you are the co-host today. So yeah, this is Zoltan and Mel, and we do things in a turn-based fashion. In case you couldn't tell by the name of the the name of the original YouTube channel, so we'll do the news in a turn-based fashion as well. I'm gonna go first. I got some quickies for you guys. They're just quickies. I didn't look too deeply into it. Don't ask too many questions, you guys. Here we go. First one. The Legend of Zelda: The Missing Link. Mel, you ever heard of this game?
No.
That's because it was a fan-made game. It used actual Zelda assets from Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time to make a game that is supposed to take place between those two games where they take place timeline-wise.
I see.
It's been shut down by Nintendo. Of course. It's like you always say, Mel, they should just call it something else or not tell anybody while they're making it and then just release it.
So that was the situation here. They were like, hey guys, we're working on this thing. Let's all show a video. Oopsie, Nintendo shut us down.
I assume that's what it was.
Okay.
Don't ask too many questions, Mel.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't look that deeply into it. I read this entire article about it. I didn't look for any trailers or anything about the game. I'm sure it wasn't done yet, otherwise it would have been said. So yeah, I'm sure they were in the process of it. The person who made it though has made Mario modded games before. He's called Kaze Emanuar was the name of the guy who was making this game. So it says here that now it has its website and trailers taken down by Nintendo. So there was a site and a trailer for it, but I can't see them. Maybe they're on YouTube. Okay, did you guys know it's Sega's 60th anniversary?
That's wild.
Yeah, so to celebrate 60th anniversary, you can get Nights into Dreams, that old Sega Saturn game, for free. On Steam, you have to go to their official website. That is Sega60th, so Sega60th.com/register, and go register over there and tell them that your preferred, or you have to sign up for their newsletter. And then, yeah, if you say your preferred platform is Steam, you can get a free copy in your Steam library of Nights into Dreams, the HD version of it. Not bad.
I don't know why they didn't just give it away.
What do you mean? Oh, without
I
having
don't know why you have to go in through their website and register and get a newsletter.
Because they want you. They want to market to you. Well, why else?
I guess so. I guess.
Yeah.
Come on.
So yeah, you have to sign up for the newsletter. Sorry, guys. Don't blame the messenger.
Damn it, Zoltan.
Blame the message. The guy, the original person. Anyway, Atelier Ryza 2 release date has been set January 2021, and it's going to be on PC on Steam, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch. That's January 26th in America and January 29th in Europe. The PlayStation 5 version is digital only. So get your hands on those thighs if you liked the first one. I would like to. And one more little quickie for you guys, although, to be honest, this is really worthy of an entire video if you ask me. And some people have made entire videos about it. There's a new PlayStation 4 8.0 update. Now that's a milestone when the next number is 0.0, right?
Sure.
So, have you already downloaded this, Mel? Have you already up? No? Okay, well, good.
I have not used my PS4 in a while.
Okay, maybe you don't want to be online when you sign up because this new firmware update comes with the following provision. Quote, by participating, this is part of the new update, okay? So if you try to turn on and go online with your PS4, you'll get it. You have to update, of course, and then during the update, if you look in the details section, it will say this, quote, by participating in voice chats, you agree to your voice being recorded. And this is, quote, to check if there have been genuine violations, unquote, of the Community Code of Conduct. And also, quote, voice chats in parties may be recorded and sent to us by other users. Now, this is weird because doesn't this mean that it's not that somebody, it does not mean, the way the system used to be is that if you had a negative interaction with somebody and you wanted to report that, you reported it and then Sony contacted them or penalized them or something. I assume that's how it works. But now, like, you can be just having, for example, voice chat with just your friends in a group. And if somebody, like, had that recorded, I mean, I don't know how it happened. Yeah, somebody, I guess that's how it goes, yeah. I'm unsure what this is really, how it could be used.
Well, it sounds to me like they're trying to make their reporting tools more robust. So if someone says, hey, someone, verbally abused or threatened me or whatever, and it happened, here's their screen name and here's the game we were playing when it happened, then someone in Sony moderation can pull a recording, theoretically, if this is true. Yeah. But obviously, I think that's a lot to begin with. I think I don't know that I would trust Sony with that data.
Oh yeah, personally. Me neither. Yeah, I don't like this at all.
A little too big brother-y, even for me. And on top of that, I have a real concern. How does this affect minors? Because there are specific laws and provisions over the recording of children. So if you're a child on voice chat and you're allowed to have a PSN account as a child, there's not you must be over, I don't think there is. And there are parental control options. So if a child is like, hey, Billy, come over to my house, here's the address, you know what I mean? Are they allowed to record this? I wonder if they're overstepping some kind of law here.
Could be.
It seems weird.
So I've heard the analysis of this, that the reason they're doing it is mainly so that they can sell, they can notice when people get excited about things or whatever during voice chat and sell that information to game companies so they can it's for marketing purposes.
That's even more Black Mirror than I was going. That's next level, algorithmic advertising. Ugh. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe. I mean, more data is more money. Data is money.
Data is
money. If they can collect any ounce of information more about you,
they will.
They will. And it's very easy to dangle the use of the product in front of someone as the sort of carrot to say, hey, you want this? Now you gotta do this. And they could probably, companies are probably aware, they could put all sorts of things in their user agreements that short of being illegal, they would probably find a lot of people willing to deal with because they just don't give a shit, or they're lazy, or
They don't think
care.
it's going to really affect them, right? I mean,
I mean,
I don't
I mean, the
usually.
vast majority of PSN users will not have known about this.
Yes, you're right.
So, like more than 60%.
Yeah, probably far more. Probably like 80% or more. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not everybody's super otaku like us and reading game websites all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So the idea that they would ever even see this update to the user agreement that literally no one reads, and everyone knows that.
Even I don't read them. Thank God somebody wrote a news story about it.
Exactly. That's why there's a news story. No one reads these things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sony later stated they would not be using this information to spy on their users because I guess they heard that from videos and things. People said that. I'm going to read directly from this Niche Gamer article. But the notification was to inform users it would be, quote, for moderation and is a feature that will be available on PS5 when it launches. It says available. They mean it will be it'll be there. Okay.
Mandatory, it'll be available. That's a real
it's in there
way of saying, these the law
you
the
can
law
use
available.
this. Yeah. This message was given on PlayStation 4 to let users, quote, know that when you participate in a chat with a PS5 user post-launch, they may submit those recordings from their PS5 consoles to Sony. Okay. Why would they do that? Why would anybody? I mean, I don't like this.
It doesn't sound good.
Yeah. So luckily, I would if I had like a router or something set up that I could plug multiple consoles in online simultaneously. But I just have the one cord going from the console to the wall, and usually because I had it plugged into my PlayStation 3 when my kid was born. And when my kid became around 2 years old, I was like, okay, you can watch TV now. And she wanted to watch some like YouTube videos that she's seen me watch before. And so over time, now she knows how to use YouTube on the PlayStation 3. And just so that she doesn't have to learn the new interface or whatever, I never switched it so that she could just easily use it on PS4 instead. So as of now, I actually have not downloaded this 8.0 firmware update, and I think I'm just not going to for now because it goes beyond that. It might not even matter, Mel, that Sony can record us because apparently now nobody can make parties anymore. Like party chat seems to have become massively unstable, and where's the section that I was reading? Here it is. Friends lists are not loading for people. Party system problems, general stability issues seem to be going crazy on like the PlayStation Reddit and stuff. Difficulty connecting to online games. Man, yeah.
Sony's friend server backend, whatever the hell, has been a giant mess for a while. Especially yeah, if you have a lot of friends, like I've heard this, it's not a common problem, but for people who are, gaming personalities or whatever who would get a lot of friend requests, they're like, my friend list is unusable. There's no way to prevent people from just throwing thousands of friend requests at me and automatically joining you into these like chat groups that you can't stop that from happening. Even if you mute your notifications. And then scrolling through the list of like friends and friend requests is such like a burden on like the server to like, here's your list, and it's like trying to pull in thousands of names and it just doesn't load. It like takes forever. So they're like, the friend list is unusable if you have a large volume of people. So I think there has been some issues on their back end.
Now it's unusable even if you don't have a lot of friends, apparently.
I guess so, but my initial comment actually was going to be like, okay, so voice chat on consoles, is that like super duper common? Because I remember, maybe it's changed, but back when I used to play on consoles more frequently on the PS3 online, it was like sort of a joke, like, no one talks online on PS3.
Oh yeah, that was a joke. It wasn't because from what I remember, it wasn't a joke that their chat or whatever was broken. It was that
No,
their online in general wasn't good, and therefore all their games were ghost towns. Like
I
people weren't
guess,
on them.
or just yeah, maybe that. I don't know. I know that I a handful of times used voice chat when I got deep into a couple games on PS3 online,
I did play a
but
little bit of voice
uh,
chat on White Knight Chronicles back when it was online,
yeah,
and that was
but
fun.
I generally have not. And the online games I have and probably ever will again play on consoles will probably never be with voice chat. I just don't have any interest in voice chatting with people I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Not me anyway. I don't know.
Yeah. I can see the appeal of it. I tried it once and I had fun.
Yeah, I had fun in a couple instances back when I played way more games way more often, but now the games that I do play are almost exclusive when I play with other people are exclusively with people that I know.
Yeah. And you use
Maybe
Discord or something?
against we actually still use Skype.
Oh, wow.
But the yeah, we might play against people we don't know as a team, my friends and I,
And you
if
don't want
there's
them
any
getting
kind
in
of
the chat.
competitive. Well, it depends on the game. Like if it's something like League of Legends, which is not a game I played personally in a while, but my friends still play, that's a game that you wouldn't be in communication with your opponents
Ah.
generally. But yeah, we still use Skype because we're old.
Yep. We're using Skype right now to record this
I know.
podcast.
That's true.
So that's all my quickies, Mel. How about you take a turn now?
All right, I'm going to take that time. So I got a very, well, these are both quickies, but we'll draw them out a little bit here.
Okay.
We've got,
You don't have to draw them out.
well, I mean, I'm just going to enumerate them separately. So
Okay.
we've got the Tales series has sort of inauspiciously dropped a new title in the series.
Another
Tales
one?
of, yeah, another one. Tales of Luminaria is the name. This comes out of a European copyright filing report.
Okay.
The great ways of
Yeah.
learning about
New games, yeah.
things that have not been announced. Either it's the ESRB rating system or some patent office somewhere.
Yeah, trademarks, exactly.
Yeah.
So this one's a trademark.
This one's a trademark, I believe, and not a copyright, a trademark, slightly different. And so that is obviously a name of a game that doesn't exist and has not been announced yet. And it's interesting in particular because their latest game, Tales of Arise, has not been released yet at all. In fact, was delayed from this year to next year.
Yes.
So that's interesting if you're a Tales fan. Don't worry, there's more Tales to come.
I don't think anybody was worried, and this freaking series is like, there are several really, really long-running RPG franchises, but I'm thinking, like, if we're talking just like mainline games in an RPG franchise, Tales might have more than Final Fantasy, yo. Like, there's a lot of Tales games, yo.
Yeah, that might be correct. Without looking it up right now, I would be willing to take that bet.
Yeah, I
you're
think
probably
there are.
correct.
So, one of the longest running and with the most number of entries series.
There's so many. Every time you turn around, there's another one.
Tales of something all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like.
And they're pretty popular. A lot of people like them more than Star Ocean. I'm in the Star Ocean train personally.
Well, when's the last time a new Star Ocean happened?
Dude, there's only 5. So yeah,
Exactly.
not often. So, and when it's not good, it's a big deal because they hardly ever come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that, Mel. So last week, maybe it was last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Recently, I mentioned to you a game called Genshin Impact, and I mentioned a video by JRPG, JAYRPG, the YouTube channel, and he explained that despite this being a PS4 game, it is also on mobile, but it's a PS4 game as well, and despite being a PS4 free-to-play game, it's actually not crap. It has gacha mechanics, but it's actually not crap. And he explained how it works. And apparently, I told you guys this before, so let's just to review. He said that the whole 20 to 30 hour single player campaign, you can play the whole thing for free. And like you do not need to use gacha mechanics at all. And the way that it seems they're going to make their money, of course, some people will choose to buy things during the middle of the game. But the time when you're going to feel like you have to buy something and spend money on the gacha machine is at the end game. And so it seems like Genshin Impact is hoping you'll play the game to the end and like it so much you want to keep going, and that's where you spend money. And you, Mel, when I explained this to you, said it doesn't sound predatory enough. And I agreed with you. Like, how are they going to make money with this? Well, I got news for you guys. Genshin Impact has made money. In 2 weeks, they have made $100 million. Congratulations.
Oof.
Not bad,
That's
huh?
a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's a Chinese game.
Is there any indication of, like, it's probably a phenomenal number, but an indication of, like, accounts created? They made $100 million.
Here we go. According to data from Sensor Tower, the game was number 2 highest grossing, blah, blah, blah. According to data from App Annie, I don't know what that is, the game was downloaded more than 23 million times on iOS and Android in its first week.
All right, so that's just the mobile component. This is on PC, yeah.
And PC and PS4 as well, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe double that number for shrug. Maybe a 50% extra of that number or something. But all right, so that gives us a good bulb. That's a lot.
Yeah, they did a good job.
That is a lot of downloads. That is a lot of income in what, 2 weeks? You said
2 weeks. Yes.
Whew. Okay.
Less
so
than
I guess,
2 weeks. Yes.
So from what I understand of it, you get these characters that you can swap out from on the fly, and you are kind of limited. Like, you don't have to dip your toe in the microtransaction pool, but the game does invite that very much so, because there are many other characters that look really cool that
if
you
want
can get
the
if you
characters,
spend money.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess that is the incentive, and if you are going to play this game with your friends, that there becomes another incentive of its own to be like, hey, look who I got. Hey, you got that guy? I got this guy. Like, that's a big thing. Or this skin for this guy. Whatever. And then you get like, oh, I want to buy that too. And then from there and there and there, it goes on and on.
Totally.
Looks interesting. I'm pretty glad about it, because for the people who can't or don't want to spend that money, they don't really have to.
They don't even have to, yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Not even like you get a preview. You get pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, basically.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a beautiful blue sky anime aesthetic. That's a term that I just created. Blue sky anime aesthetic. And it's an open world, and I believe you can climb any surface. I believe that was said. So that's pretty. Yeah, that sounds like fun to me.
It is. That's one of the borrowed sort of mechanics from Wind Waker. Everyone's making comparisons to, because you have a glider. You can not Wind Waker. I'm sorry, Breath of the Wild.
That's right. Yeah, sorry.
Where you can glide on a little hang glider off of any surface you jump off of, and climb pretty much any surface, any sheer cliff face or building. You can just climb.
I'm thinking I'd love Wind Waker. I mean, Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
You probably would. I liked it a lot. I think you would.
Yeah. So, congratulations to Genshin Impact. You got another turn for us, Mel?
I do. I have one more here. That Monster Hunter movie that we touched on briefly last week.
Yeah, I didn't go and watch the trailer. Sorry.
Well, that was just a teaser, like a literal 2-5 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Here it is, and here's a musical sting, and then Mila Jovovich's face screaming. And from that, I got an impression of like, well, I know exactly what this movie is. It's probably not going to be great. I didn't expect it to be great to begin with. And sure enough, after they've released the extended or full trailer, it is exactly what I thought, and it is actually worse than I thought.
Wait, what? So what did you think first before you tell us what it actually is?
I thought it was going to be a Transformers, Michael Bay, esque adaptation of
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. And there was a strong, in that short teaser, there was a strong, like, military aesthetic to it, where Mila Jovovich is some kind of special ops person who is dressed up in, like, modern military fatigues, and she's driving around in a Humvee in a desert. And there's a giant Rathalos or whatever the hell monster from Monster Hunter jumping out of the sand. And then she goes, ah, and then it's like crazy music. And the extended trailer, it's a lot more of that. But they try to tie it more into the Monster Hunter lore world by somehow, they don't explain in the trailer, including clips of them with, like, the Monster Hunter weapons. I mean, do you know what that means? Like,
you mean they're holding actual weapons from the game?
Yeah, like Monster Hunter type weapons. So,
which doesn't make sense with
sword with bones on it.
You're right, exactly. I know kind of what they look like. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it doesn't match with her like clothes at all, is what you're going to tell me, right?
It doesn't match with like their high technology modern military literal scene with her in a rocket launcher and guns.
Yeah, and then they're going to take out a sword too.
Like bone glaive that she has in her hand, and it looks vaguely magical. I'm guessing what they're going to say is, oh, you can only hurt them with like their own bones.
Oh man,
or something. I
You're
bet that will
stun them
the
first and then bust out the sword at the end. Yeah,
I guess so.
Why didn't they just make it like freaking Monster Hunter original setting of just like, hunter-gatherer fantasy, if you will, and just make that into a Michael Bay style action movie? That would be fun, right?
I guess. I don't know. This is one of those properties that you have to look at and go, did they need to make a movie?
I mean, they didn't, but I mean, if they were going to, and they just want to make a quick, easy action movie, yeah, I don't see why they don't just stay faithful to the setting and then just go crazy with the action and the Michael Bay stuff. But military stuff is also involved. Hummers.
It really does look like they just took like the Transformer movie template and just like stamped it on top of this idea, because inexplicably there is this like strong military dynamic going on, and then which is not a thing in Monster Hunter at all. There's no American modern military in existence. It's all fantasy. And there's this we gotta fight it with real weapons. We gotta use fantasy weapons turn at some point in the movie. It looks. I thought they were gonna keep it completely in the modern realm and just have Mila Jovovich firing like an M16 at a Rathalos, and that was it, and that would be bad enough. But they're gonna try and make it more Monster Hunter somehow.
That's weird.
So bad. The like to dislike ratio is pretty close to 50-50, which on the YouTube scale is really, really bad.
Yeah, that's catastrophe level right there.
That's a pretty bad ratio for highly viewed. At this moment, the trailer has 3.8 million views, and it's got 25,000 likes to 16,000 dislikes. Pretty bad.
I can only laugh.
Know.
It's funny to me. Okay.
This just seems like such a bad idea. But I don't know. Then again, it could be a very wise financial idea, because these are the kinds of movies that sell and do really well in China. These kind of high action. Yeah, I mean, that was Transformers. It made most of its money in China.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. That's why there have been so fucking many of them. There's like 8 of them.
Because, nobody ever says they're good, in America. No. So, how are they still continuing? Okay, now I know.
They sell extremely well tickets, and I don't know these days if they're still doing theaters in China. I don't know. But at any rate, they perform very well financially in China. And a lot of blockbuster Hollywood production has, to a lot of critics' chagrin, shifted its focus
On
to the
China.
Chinese
Yes.
market,
Yes.
even if it's not like Chinese made at all. It's kind of in their ballpark, like what their market is demanding. And then, by the way, yeah, America here, you can have it too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like 1 billion people in there in China?
in there, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
1 billion, man. Holy
It's a big
crap.
market, just raw numbers. It's a very big market.
Oh,
and
yeah.
whenever China likes something, that's a big deal. So
Yep.
Genshin Impact, everyone.
Genshin Impact. Yeah. And there's still later that's going to be that one game about the Son Goku where you play as
I was
the
just
monkey.
thinking of that. Yes.
Yeah, and you're looking forward to that because it looks Souls-ish, as we thought.
That looks like a genuinely interesting first single player
Action game, right? Yeah.
A lot of interesting things coming out of China that are not mobile garbage or knockoffs or
Dude,
whatever.
what happened that we're suddenly getting games from China from out of nowhere? Like, was there a law before that they can't do business here or something? What happened?
There were a lot of laws that meant that China couldn't have things sold in it that weren't made there or that weren't marketed and owned by a company there. So for many, many years...
That's in China, though.
In China, for many years, up until, I want to say, late PS3, no modern consoles prior to that point were sold in any real number in China.
In China.
So
yeah, I remember
the
that.
amount of people playing games and having any kind of, feel for what Europe and Japan and the US were doing with the gaming market was like nullified entirely. Eventually, either I think China laxed those laws or the companies like Nintendo and Sony and whatnot found ways to partner themselves in with the Chinese government and laws there.
And why are they
that market opened up a bit?
Okay, but the opposite situation also wasn't happening. I don't remember there ever being any popular Chinese-made games selling in the West, and now there are. So
right. Well, I think one led to the other. I think the more games got sold there, the more the appetite grew, which meant developers started,
forming
growing up there and forming, and studios started making their own. And I'm looking forward to it because that's a giant slice of the population that we had no input from as far as games. Russia is another notoriously kind of black box for games and game development. The closest we get is CD Projekt Red, which is Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
But
Sweden?
out of Russia and Sweden. They're somewhere there.
Poland, I think.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
But Russia itself is a very similar situation to China, where you don't have a lot of legal sale of modern game consoles there necessarily, or certainly not a lot of game development coming out of there. But at any rate, that might be a reason why we're seeing more now.
Yeah,
we'll see.
A thing that's interesting to me is that, at least from my eyes, the anime style in China looks basically just like Japanese style anime to me. I don't really notice any difference.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird to me.
Would be or not? Yeah,
because America has done animation forever too, and then Japan has also done animation forever, and they look totally different. Like there's American animation like Disney, and then anime always looked like anime, and it just continued to look more and more like anime. And then now we're getting a couple games from China, and their first anime game that becomes big from China in the West looks to me just like a Japanese animated game. So I can't tell the difference.
Yeah,
that's
a good point. I don't know why. I didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to the last story.
Okay.
We'll just end on some bad news. Oh, yay.
All right.
It seems, Mel, that Level 5 has completely shut down American operations, although they haven't made any announcements about it, yo.
Oh.
So, for those of you who don't know exactly who Level 5 is, these are the people who made, let me just list off a bunch of their famous games. It's kind of insane. The percentage, I just looking at the list and making the percentage in my mind, the percentage of games they've made that became really huge hits is pretty high. With Square Enix, it's like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, and then everything else doesn't do nearly as well. But freaking, if I could just go on, like most of these only became super huge in Japan, but of course they developed Dragon Quest 8 and 9, so good job for that.
Right.
Yes. But then Professor Layton series was very huge on the 3D on the DS and maybe 3DS later. Here in Japan as well. Freaking Inazuma 11, the soccer RPG. Freaking huge in Japan. It had an anime, I believe. Ni no Kuni, pretty big in the West. Little Battlers Experience, pretty big in Japan. But there's another one that was freaking huge, though. There it is. And Yokai Watch, freaking massive in Japan. Toys and anime and everything. It has everything,
Yeah.
And that seems...
Is that still kind of trucking along, or has that died down a bit in Japan?
It's still popular. I still, as an elementary school teacher, I still meet kids who know about Yokai Watch and like it. So,
but that was like a phenomenon at one point, right?
It was a phenomenon, yes.
Yeah.
So exactly. As an elementary school teacher, I get to see all the phenomenons firsthand.
Yes.
So I saw the Monster Hunter phenomenon where every kid in the class played freaking Monster Hunter G on PSP.
Nice.
And now the phenomenon is the anime, which is called Demon Slayer in America. It's called Kimetsu no Yaiba in Japan, and everybody loves it. And my kid wants to watch it. You never heard of it, you say?
No.
Yeah, it's a massive thing now. Everybody's watching or has watched or read the manga of Kimetsu no Yaiba, and the movie's coming out soon. I'm sure everybody's going to go watch it.
Oh, boy.
So anyway, yeah, so it's impressive how many massive hits that these guys have had. But anyway, massive hits aside, there's some other great games that they've made. For me, I think for most people, actually, for people who don't play portable RPGs like you and I, the Level 5 Golden Era was basically the beginning of their career. The first game they made on the PS2, Dark Cloud 1. I've played the beginning of it, and so far I love it to death. It's one of those, what do you call it? Like town building simulation plus another genre combination games like ActRaiser, and there are several games like that in the world now, right? Dark Cloud is one of them. Yeah, you build. It would be, in the case of Dark Cloud, it's combination town building and randomly generated dungeon crawler RPG. And so far I've played the first 2 areas in that game, and I really like it. And of course, Dark Cloud 2 came out. Dragon Quest 8, also on the PS2, and Rogue Galaxy, which not as famous as the other 3 I mentioned, but one of my personal favorites. It literally advertised on the box, infinite grinding,
Yes, I remember you saying this.
Yeah, so I'm into that game. It's not actually infinite. The level cap is 99, and and the maximum weapon level cap is 50. So, but anyway, and then after that, they got John Dark, which is considered by many to be the best strategy role playing game on the PSP. The Professor Layton series, and then one of my favorite other heavy grinding games, White Knight Chronicles 1 and 2 came out on PlayStation 3. That was an online MMO. Now it's offline, but you can still play it all the way to the end and do everything. Ni no Kuni, of course, also came out on PS3. Ni no Kuni 2 came out on PS4, plus all those unbelievably huge hits that I've mentioned. So that's who freaking Level 5 is, And by the way, I mentioned before that their next big thing that I think is going to be the big thing, their next game is for Switch and PS4 is Megaton Musashi. That's the part armored core robot building game. It looks like that, just with RPG stats involved. That's really all it looks like. Okay, so let me get on to the actual story. That's who Level 5 is, but it seems like they have just basically shut down, So this is across 3 different... I mean, one article came out that makes this observation. But if you go back to July of last year, there was an article that says that 2 people were laid off from Level 5 International America. That's the American branch or whatever. I guess it's located in California somewhere. And that's a big deal because that's like a third of the company. Like, you laid off a third of the company by laying off 2 people, apparently. It was very small. So that happened, but whatever. It's just 2 people. Maybe not a big deal. Who knows? No, nothing big came of that. Just somebody noticed it. They wrote about it, and Level 5 said, "Yeah, we laid them off, but we're not doing any large scale restructuring." So that was that. But then in August, where is it? I have multiple things here. In August of that same year, so last year. They laid off 10 more people, which I thought was like that was like all the people in the company, I thought, but I guess they still have a few skeleton crew people left remaining. And I also didn't know this, but apparently there were 2 American offices. One called Level 5 International America, and the other one was called Level 5 Abby, ABBY. And I checked out the websites for both, and the Level 5 International America is the one that does exactly what you think it would do and localizes the Level 5 games and releases them out here in the West. Abby, it just says on their website that we make games and stuff for the Western market, but I don't know what they do that's different from Level 5 International America. And they don't have a very developed website. They don't have like a list of products that they've made or anything, unlike the International America site did. So I don't know what that site company did, but that one also lost 10 members. So that's a total of like 20 people getting laid off from American Level 5 companies. And so that happened, and people are noticing that, a couple big layoffs happened, and the last game that America got was... Here it is. This one came out. No. Yokai Watch 3 came out in America, North America, for the Nintendo 3DS. It came out in 2016 in Japan, but in America it came out in February of 2019. And after that was Snack World, which came out this year of February 2020. But since then, there have been no other updates about games that are going to be coming out here. Obviously, it's maybe not be obvious, but Megaton Musashi has not had any announcements that it's going to come to the West. Previously, there was this one. No, where'd it go? Yokai Watch 4 was a long time ago, mentioned that it's going to be localized, but then there haven't been any details since then. That was back in 2019 that announcement happened. So... what the hell is going on with Level 5 in North America? Are they still going to release games in the West or what? I don't know.
They might be finding that with the sort of global remote work situation that's been going on for almost a year, that maybe they don't need a foreign branch office anymore. Maybe, I don't know. Could be wishful thinking on my part there, or not. I'm not sure.
It doesn't seem like they. I mean, I haven't searched for sales numbers, but I mean, I don't know. I never heard about like, oh, they didn't make enough money with this title in the West or whatever. Like, I never heard that story ever. So it's. I want to say it's not because they're not making enough money in the West. I don't think that's the case. They do have some popular games. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I know that the pandemic has hit Japanese businesses, especially in the tech sector, pretty hard for various reasons. Not entirely sure. I think that's been just due to corporate culture not adapting nimbly to the forced remote work situation going on. But I don't know if this has anything to do with this piece of news.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah.
But it's easy to blame everything on the coronavirus when
I suppose it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the GameIndustry.biz reached out to Level 5 through millions of different avenues, and none of them got a reply, so they don't know.
Well, that's unfortunate. And just to clarify, Level 5 is a developer and a publisher. They've done both.
That's right.
roles.
That's right.
So they've developed
all those games I
like
mentioned,
Dragon
I think.
Quest
yeah.
8 and they've also done some publishing. So they've been a pretty big presence in the Japanese RPG and other genre of Japanese games. So it's interesting to see them shut down the American branch. Not sure quite what to make of that either.
Yeah. So sorry to end the thing on a freaking
Well, I actually have
question
one
mark.
little thing.
Okay, let's
All
do
right.
your thing.
So this is sort of like an unstructured quickie here.
Okay.
Lately, what I have been doing as a person with limited time to play the games that I still like to play, because back in the day I used to really like to replay a lot of my old games, like my favorites,
Yeah, I still do that.
And right, I do it too, but I rarely. When's the last time you finished a game that you replayed?
Oh, hasn't happened in forever.
Exactly. So I have also started and stopped replaying various games a whole bunch, but I used to finish them. I used to, when I would replay, pick a GameCube game that I owned, and I would finish it in a week or two or whatever it was. And that hasn't happened. So there are a lot of games that I'm still in the back of my mind I wish I could replay. So what I have discovered is actually really interesting.
Okay.
Is if you go onto YouTube and you search for whatever the name of the game is that you have been thinking about, and then you type in that name, and then you type the word long play, LONGPLAY. That is a term that has been around and I've known of for a while for a playthrough of a game that doesn't have any commentary, and it's usually in one long video.
Yes.
And for the games that I like to play, that could be over 10 hours or 20, 30 hours of video, maybe break, because I think the YouTube limit is 10 hours, but whatever it is. And what I've done in the last week or so is I looked at Ocarina of Time, for example, and Majora's Mask, and I took the video off of YouTube, put it into my own video player. VLC is what I use, and then sped it up to 4 times the playback speed.
Okay, that's pretty fast.
And it's pretty fast, but for games that I'm very familiar with, even though it's really quick, it was like
what's happening.
Digestible. Yeah, it was legible. I knew what was going on. If it was a game I had never played before, only ever played once, this would probably be very confusing. But for a game that I'm very familiar with, it actually worked surprisingly well for giving me that sense of having revisited the game, but in a really condensed, like, trip down memory lane format. And it won't work for everything, because if it's a game that has a lot of like camera movement, so like a first-person shooter would be a bad idea.
Oh yeah.
Or a game where just naturally the camera moves and jumps around for any reason a lot would probably be really bad. But 2D role-playing games, really good. The camera barely ever moves. And when combat resolves within a couple seconds, and you watch this guy or girl play this game for 12 hours condensed down into
3 hours.
Or 3 hours or whatever.
That's awesome.
You kind of get the gist. You kind of like, I remember all that. Oh, yeah, they're going here to doing this. Okay, yeah, they're going to this thing. It was really... I've been kind of hooked on this.
This is a really weird, like, recommendation that I feel like
I know. It's like an older person who doesn't have time but still really wants to stay in touch with games way of, revisiting a long-ass game like Majora's Mask, which I'll probably never replay ever again.
Oh.
But I watched someone play through that whole game, do the entire, like, get everything. And I feel like I revisited that game legitimately. It feels like I recently replayed it.
You remembered all the things that happened.
I do, because it was very quick, and I wasn't reading any of the dialogue, but I remember most of the dialogue that went back from when. But all the major beats you could see, and I don't know, It's interesting. I think you should give it a try if you're curious. But the thing is, you have to pull it off of YouTube somehow because their player only goes up to 2 times.
That's fast enough for me, man. I mean, I know
It's fast, but if you're like, if you got something else to do, like it's fast, but for me it wasn't.
I mean,
fast
you know
enough.
what's gonna happen, yeah.
If you know what's going to happen, and someone is like, this isn't a speed run. This is someone playing the game more or less normally.
Oh,
they
that's
might
right,
know
yeah.
what to do.
That's right.
You know, it's 12 hours of gameplay. And if you're just there to like revisit and like watch the game happen and unfold in front of you, and again, I have to emphasize, this is really probably only going to work for games that you know really well, that you like, and could recite the beats of what happened. If it's a game that I only played once, this probably wouldn't. It would probably be just confusing. But I don't know. Anyone else has any ideas, like games that they could do this, try this out for, if it works for you or not? Maybe I'm weird. I don't know.
Yeah! Thanks for lightening the mood, Mel.
Yay!
Okay, everybody, that about does it for this episode of Dude JRPG News. Is that everything, Mel?
That is now officially everything, yes.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and subscribe and all that stuff if you're having a good time. And remember that starting December 1st, Dude JRPG News episodes will only be available on the Dude JRPG News YouTube channel and will not be on Turn-Based Memories anymore, and only high-quality stuff will be on that channel. Says something about what we're doing right now. And I think that's it. So we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.